passion.
Miracle workers.
Healing.
Compassionate,
Excellence.
competent,
Responsive.
Caring.
All heart.
One day I came to work and, being a dedicated employee and, how men are, when you say, go to the hospital, oh no, I ain't sick. We're gonna do it ourselves. So one day I just said, let me go. My boss said, go to the hospital, you look sick. And I went to the hospital and sure enough, congestive heart failure. And it was a big major setback for me. I came to the Heart Institute and Dr. Mazur sat down and he went over his whole program and how he wanted to work with me to get me to the level that I need to be at. And he said, I want to do cardio conversion, Nate. And I said, what? He said, it's just a slight procedure where you're in HO fib. I want to take you in there and try to take you out of HO fib, get your heart back to normal, regular heartbeat, and we'll go from there. And we did it. I've said it in sports, athletics, competition. Coach make it happen. Get out there, make it happen. Make it happen. Even at UPS, that was one of our pet peeves. Go out there and make it happen. They're making it happen for me. They're making it happen.
I had an appointment for a calcium index or calcium score at the Heart Institute. Went over, and truthfully, they were great. I mean, the entire experience was so simple. Sent me downstairs to Kavanaugh's office. He came in, told me what the score was, again, meant nothing to me, but proceeded to explain it and told me I had coronary artery disease. And I laughed, just like I did now. And actually said to him, I said, you've got to be kidding. I said, that's impossible. And he said, no, it isn't. I just did not think heart disease was ever going to be part of my life. It wasn't on my horizon.
I started having chest pains, and whenever I exerted or walked up steps, I noticed I was having pains on my arm. I was pretty sure it was heart related. Went to the Heart Institute, and they said, sure enough, they did a catheterization, saw I needed to have open heart surgery. Did open heart surgery the next day with Dr. Levy. I've been very pleased with the fact that when I've needed to be there, I get seen that day. I get to see the doctor. I've had, when I needed to go into the cath lab, I got in that day or the next morning. Every time I've called them after I had my heart surgery and I was concerned about different issues that come up, I got an answer back, usually within 10 minutes of when I called and asked for someone to call me. The response has been excellent. The access to doctors has been great. And the nurses you work with there, the assistants are really good, really nice and very responsive.
I would go walking on my lunch break, and one day I got like halfway, and I started feeling like that cold, like when you're breathing really cold air. I started feeling that, so I just stopped walking, and everybody just kept pushing me go, and I was like, no, something's not right. I got scared. I came back to work. I talked to one of my coworkers. She picked up the phone and called Dr. Kavanaugh, explained the situation. This was on a Thursday. And he says, okay, have her in my office tomorrow. I went in, he looked at my report. He handed me a bottle of nitro pills. And he said, okay, go home this weekend, don't do anything. We're gonna sit up and we're gonna do a cath on Monday. So we did that. Dr. Coons did my cath. And he said he tried and tried, but he could not get through because I had 98 and 99% blockage on the branch. I don't know how it happened, who arranged it, but I was picked up by ambulance and taken to Heart Hospital that night. And that was Monday night. By the time I got to my room, Dr. Levy was sitting in there, and he explained what they were gonna do, and the next morning he did a double bypass. And he actually had said if I would have waited one more week, I would have blew the bottom half of my heart. You know, they helped keep me here for my daughter. Like I said, she was 5 when I had the surgery. You know, I wanna see her grow up. You know, there's no way I wanna leave her behind, and these doctors have helped me. They've helped me do that.
I came down with a little sore on one of my toes. It was suggested that I go to the Heart Institute for a second opinion. and I met Dr. Hanau. Through his efforts, the equipment was ordered. We found out at that point that it was going to be 4 to 6 months before the equipment would show up. So in the meantime, since it was a matter of life and death in my mind, they made arrangements for me to go to the Arizona Heart Institute, and I had a procedure on my leg down there. It was so successful that within a week, all the pain I was having in my leg was gone. They sent me home back to New Mexico and told me eventually I'd have to have it done on my right leg. I had that procedure about a month ago. The result of that procedure was just as encouraging.
I had some incidents where I thought I was going to pass out. And I went to the hospital once and they couldn't find anything. So I had an appointment to see Dr. Ramo. When I went to check in, the receptionist, they asked, was I okay? Because I didn't look normal. So I said, well, I'm not feeling very well. So they took me in and the nurses did an ECG on me, electrocardiogram, and they immediately rushed out of the room. So to me, I thought that was strange. And Dr. Ramo came back in the room and he said that I had ventricular tachycardia and that I needed to go to the hospital immediately. And so I did, and I was there for several days at the heart hospital. And I feel that Dr. Ramos saved my life.
My situation with clear diagnosis was a little bit different. It was a little harder because I have some drug allergies to fillers and chemical allergies, and I couldn't even do a heart catheter. But the doctors and the specialists worked around it to be able to find out what could be treated and came up with simple and doable things to keep quality of life for me. I just want to say thank you to all of the wonderful people at New Mexico Heart Institute for their commitment, for their love, for their kindness, for their service, to everybody who walks through that door, because they make such a difference. And every life they touch touches hundreds more.